All right, let's talk about something that I know drives me crazy, and I'm guessing it drives you crazy too. How do you actually remember what you read? We're about to dive into a way to completely transform how you learn, so you're not just collecting information, but actually making it a part of you. Let's do this. You know the feeling, right? You spend all this time with a fascinating book. You turn that last page, close the cover, and then a week later it's like, poof. It's almost all gone. It is so frustrating. But here's the thing. What if the problem isn't your memory at all? And this is the whole game right here. Forgetting isn't some failure of your brain. It's a failure of your process. Your mind isn't just a hard drive where you dump files. It's more like a factory. It's designed to take in raw materials, information, and then actively do something with them. This slide just nails it. On one side, you've got consumption. That's what most of us do. We just let information wash over us. But real learning, the kind that actually sticks, that's mental digestion. It's where you're actively questioning, connecting, and wrestling with what you've just taken in. Honestly, without that second part, the first part is pretty much a waste of time. So let's just be super clear about this. You don't need a better brain. You just need a better system. The real secret is all about what you do after your eyes leave the page. It's about building a bridge from just seeing an idea to truly owning it. And that system is called PACER. I really love this idea of it being a mental map. Think of it like this. You've got 5 different keys for 5 different kinds of locks in your brain. It's all built on this simple truth that not all information is the same, so you can't possibly process it all the same way. This is how you go from being a passive learner to an active learner. So here they are, the 5 keys that make up the whole PACER method: procedural, analogous, conceptual, evidence, and reference. Let's break down exactly what each of these means. All right, first up, we have P for procedural. This is all your how-to stuff, skills. Think learning to play guitar, or writing code, or even just getting better at public speaking. With this kind of knowledge, just reading a book about it is, well, it's pretty much useless. You have to actually do it. And here's the bottom line. Your brain only flags this kind of information as important when your body is involved. It learns from the motion, from the repetition, from the mistakes. It's really that simple. To learn a skill, you have to actually do the skill. Okay, next up, A for analogous. And honestly, this might be my favorite one. Our brains are, believe it or not, pretty bad at remembering abstract ideas, but they are absolutely brilliant at remembering concrete images and comparisons. So, every single time you encounter some new, complex idea, you have to force yourself to ask this question. When you create your own analogy for something, you're making your brain build a bridge from this new, weird concept to something it already deeply understands. And that connection, that's the glue that makes it stick. All right, let's move on to C for conceptual. This is all about seeing the big picture. It's about understanding the underlying principles and seeing how all the different ideas connect to each other. I mean, anybody can memorize a few facts, but real understanding, that's way rarer. This is the mental shift you have to make. Stop thinking of information as just a long list of separate items. Instead, start building a mental map. Ask yourself, how does this connect to that? What's the cause and effect here? When your brain can see the whole network, the whole structure, it holds on to everything so much better. Okay, on to E for evidence. This is all the supporting material. We're talking facts, statistics, examples, quotes. This kind of stuff requires a very specific approach. You've got to organize it, and then you've got to review it. It sounds kind of crazy, but our brains are actually designed to forget. It's an efficiency thing. So you have to go out of your way to signal to your brain what's important enough to hang on to. Things like spaced repetition, using flashcards, or just reviewing your notes. That sends a loud, clear signal that says, hey, this matters, keep it around. And finally, we have R for reference. This is for all those little details that you don't actually need to memorize. Things like specific dates, or complex formulas, or exact quotes. The whole point here is to not clutter up your mind. The key is to externalize it. You build a system outside of your head, a second brain, where you can find that info in a snap. The goal isn't to know everything, it's to know where to find everything. And this chart here just pulls it all together so nicely. You can see how each type of knowledge demands a completely different action from you. That right there is mental digestion. So the PACER method is a fantastic toolkit, but a tool is only as good as the person using it, right? To really make this work, we have to go beyond just the technique and actually adopt a whole different mindset about what learning even is. And really, it all boils down to one simple question. Are you a spectator or are you a participant? See, a spectator just consumes. They try to memorize the sentences on the page. But a participant gets in there and actively tries to reconstruct the thinking that led to those sentences in the first place. It's a huge shift from consuming to building. And here it is. This is the ultimate test, the real gut check for your understanding. After you learn something, try to explain it out loud in your own simple words, like you're talking to a 10-year-old. If you stumble and can't do it, you haven't really learned it yet. It's that act of simplifying that forges the strongest possible connections in your brain. I absolutely love this idea of turning learning into your own little mental lab. Stop seeing it as some test you have to pass and start seeing it as an experiment. Get curious. Ask what if. Try to break the ideas you're learning. Even your mistakes are just data, showing you where the gaps in your understanding are. This just says it all, doesn't it? True intelligence isn't about stacking up isolated facts like a big, wobbly tower. It's about weaving connections between them, creating this strong, interconnected web. Every single new thing you learn should connect to something you already know. That's how you turn a messy pile of data into a real web of wisdom. Okay, so we've got the PACER method and we've got the participant mindset. But there's one last crucial step that brings it all home. This is what transforms learning into true mastery. It's the bridge from just knowing a thing to actually being a different person because of it. This is the ultimate secret right here. Knowledge that you don't actually use will always, always fade away. Real, deep mastery only starts when what you know begins to change how you live your life. The question shifts from, how can I remember this, to how can I live this? Because when knowledge becomes action, it becomes part of your identity, and you never forget who you are. So I'll just leave you with this one thought to chew on. How will you live what you've just learned?